Today's episode is sponsored by Billy Keel's Advisory Services. If you want to learn more about how to make your 99 optional, just go to makeitoptional.com. Once again, that's makeitoptional.com.
Helping you build freedom without losing your edge. This is the Going Long podcast with Billy Keels.
Every single day that I get to sit here and share and exchange stories with some amazing leaders, like it just makes me want to come back more and more and more. And today is absolutely no exception to that, because, you know, when I think about it, you start to realize that corporate soil can actually be exactly what you need to grow the strong roots of your vision and be able to take that vision and put it into action. Today's guest invested 20 plus years. Like if you're watching the video version, you won't even believe that that's true. Like 20 plus years in not only the hospitality, but also the enterprise hardware and software industries, where he was leveraging all the things that he learned about business and, more importantly, about himself. And I really want you to focus in on this, because today he's an endurance athlete who's preparing, get this, a world record attempt riding 1,000 miles nonstop. I did say riding 1,000 miles nonstop. He's not even smiling about it. Like, this is real serious. This is amazing. And today he's going to share more about his journey and how he collaborates with partners and creates impact-driven storytelling and meaningful brand engagement. It's amazing. It gives me great pleasure to welcome to today's conversation the strategic advisor as well as founder of both the Challenges for a Greener Future as well as the 1,000 Miles Challenge, none other than himself, Mr. Olivier Jadoul. Olivier, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. What an introduction. Amazing. Thank you.
Oh man, this is so amazing. Well, these are just a few of the things that you have done and been able to share publicly, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And I'm really looking forward to so many people around the globe being able to learn more about your story, the roots that it has, and also where you have taken the purpose-led driven mission that you're on. So I kind of shared just a little bit of stuff, but what I would love for you to do, Olivier, is just share with us your story. Also talk to us about how did you do like the corporate thing, and now you're actually out and you're getting ready you're going after a world record attempt, 1,000 hours with nonstop. Talk to us, 1,000 miles nonstop. So talk to us, man. Help us understand a little bit more about you.
I think we're going to do something I didn't tell you. We're going to go back to the past.
Okay. All right. Well, we like that. We'll see where the conversation goes. Okay.
I kept you some surprises, even though we know each other for a while, but I kept you some surprises. And I think people that are going to listen to this podcast needs to, if they want to connect, we need to share the truth. That's what I always say. That's important also. We are human beings. We need to understand each other first, and know my story is pretty important too. Just to go to the past, bring back to the roots, what's the core foundation of all that energy that I get, where it comes from. When I will make it short, when I was a child, when you're born, after 1 year, start to walk. This is where first steps after 12 months. 12 months, my parents start to see that I couldn't work properly. I was kind of suffering a lot, struggling and suffering a lot. I start to go see the doctors and try to understand what was happening. Basically, after a year, we found out that it was a huge virus that was eating part of my bones, my legs. Where did it come from? How did it stop? We still don't know, but it stopped for a reason, and it allowed me to still be able to walk, but we love troubles. So from that moment, we start to see on and on, doctors after doctors, surgeries after surgeries. And I can tell you that for like the next 10 years, I've been living to hospitals. Every summer, when kids are just playing in the garden, enjoying the summer holidays, I was in a bed with a heavy surgery of 10, 15 hours, and then recovering for like 1-2 months, learning to walk again. I remember long nights where I had to stay awake to try to go to the toilet. It would take me 1 hour because I didn't want to wake up my parents, to not depend on nobody. So this is my childhood. And then we fast forward till when I'm 11 years old, and I was 11, I think, or 12 maximum. And I remember going back to the doctor, try to find another solution. So the doctor was saying like, this time we're going to do this and this, it's going to take like X amount of our surgery. And I said, no, you know what? We need to stop this. I want to be a child like everyone. I want to enjoy. And this is where we stopped everything. The doctor told me, I remember, good luck. Good luck. If you do this, you're in a wheelchair. We need to hip replacement and this and that. And scoliosis. Yeah, bet on my life.
And you made this decision at 12. You shared this 11, 12, 11.
Like this, 11, 12. And I knew what I wanted. I started to move, play around, do some sport. It was pretty hard, to be very honest. I've been rejected by many sport clubs, telling me that was not fitting. Mentally, you have to be strong to go through that. But I remember around 16, 17, I discovered boxing and martial arts. It kicked something inside me, triggered, and said like, okay, this is what I want to do. And this is where I start to move and do different sport. And I remember entering in any gym, telling my coaches, treat me like anyone. Don't make a difference. Don't worry about me. And this is how I get into sport. And then things start moving, basically.
Wonderful. So this is so 16, 17. So how did you choose the mixed martial arts thing? I mean, because you could have chosen anything. You were in other sports, and what was it that drew you there? I think
I was kind of a lonely boy, being a child. So martial art being quite, even if though you work in teams, it is you and yourself. You don't fight an opponent. You fight yourself. You fight yourself, your ego. So it came naturally. I would say life brought me to this, and I started with boxing. Then I went to jiu-jitsu, which is kind of complete at the end. You use your whole body, so it could allow me to develop the whole body. And I don't know, I felt it quite natural.
Okay, so from the very beginning, so you're, I would say you are working against the odds. Yeah. You are going after what you want. You're listening to other people who have quote unquote more expertise, more studies in the area of understanding the human body, the physical part of the body. What they may not understand is the mental fortitude or strength, resilience of each individual, which is something I have a feeling we're going to come back to in this conversation. And so you're going through this, and you're in your now 16, 17, and you found a part of now something that you're continuing to tap in. And at the same time, I know that there was a stop, because we talked about two industries specifically. And both of these industries, by the way, I invested a lot of my life in, both hospitality and enterprise hardware and software. 26 years of my life was there. And so maybe you could talk to us a little bit about that experience that you had in corporate life. And then I have a question for you that you may not be prepared for.
Okay. I moved to hotel management. I dedicated time. If you worked in that, you know how it works. This is your life. I called it the hotel fever. Because I was so driven by that. You just dedicate your time, and it was very quick. I started as a reception agent, and I moved quickly to hotel manager in Brussels. Then I took a break of it. I remember at that time Barcelona and Dublin was opening quite a lot of job offers, and I just decided to take a break, go to the sun, enjoy a little bit. And this is how I switched to IT, and I started in sales, and it went very fast. I remember getting to all the biggest companies of Barcelona, where I landed in SAP. This is where I met you. And this is where real sales happened. I before that went to a small company called EMS. I'm still grateful I met my boss there, Benjamin Benteles. He's quite famous. He taught me the art of selling. And I remember I just swallowed everything, and I thought to myself, I'm going to be the best sales. And this is where I came to SAP after that. And man, I loved that. I loved it because it was about understanding. I understood immediately it wasn't about selling something. It was about understanding, connecting to the person in front, understanding the needs of the person actually, if you can replicate it to your life, you just understand human beings and relationships.
Yeah. So you went from this idea of the management, the fever, as you say, the hospitality fever, because there's such a wonderful, it attracts so many different people, and you get a chance to see the world, and et cetera, et cetera. And then you get into the enterprise space, and there are a lot of lessons learned, but you also there. It sounds like there was a lead of wanting to enrich your life. And you found these industries and found these particular opportunities in different geographies. I've also found there's a pattern, because where were you born? And the fact that you were talking about you looking at Dublin, looking at Spain, or specifically Ireland and Spain, you have to have a certain kind of mindset to be able to leave your hometown. I'm a guy from Columbus, Ohio, and most of my friends thought I was kind of crazy going so far away.
So I was born in Togo, but I'm not even from Togo. I could have been born in Thailand. It doesn't matter. So I was born in Togo. I'm from Congo and Belgium. I traveled quite a lot when I was a child, and I came to Belgium when I was 5 or 6. So,
Okay.
but from that time until I was 25, I stayed in Belgium. But I would tell you very honestly, I can't explain. There's something in my DNA. I always knew that I was going to leave Belgium very soon as I could, and start traveling the world. And I was 25, 26 when I moved to Barcelona. So I didn't wait too long, actually. Finished my studies, start to work, and I thought, like, I need something else. I need sun. I need new culture. I need to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's interesting. I never could understand it either, but there was something that was calling me to move outside of the US, specifically to Europe. Never been able to put my finger on it, but when I look back for what was supposed to be a 1-year sabbatical to go to France to learn French, to learn more about wine, and to learn more how to salsa dance, it's now been 25 years. It has been 4 different cities, 3 different countries, 4 languages, and so there's something inside of you that is getting louder and louder, and you just have to listen to it. If not, it can maybe drive you a little bit crazy. But so here's the thing. So you have this corporate experience, right? And you could still be in a corporate life. Like, you're still you've got the skill set. You've been through the things that work and the things that don't. And at the same time, one of the things I've learned in life is that every relationship ends, right? Yeah. And it ends either because you want it to end, because the other side of the equation wants it to end, or we just leave life and we're no longer alive. And so it sounds to me like your corporate relationship came to an end, and you've decided to take a lot of what you learned and focus it on something else. Can you give us some insight into what that was like for you, and why have you chosen the path that you're on right now?
I will tell you how it went. And I'm not sure I chose anything. I think life chose me for that reason, and I just took what came. But this is.
I'm sorry. I really want to make sure everybody heard what you just said, because we can find out many times that, you have this preconceived notion. But please repeat what you just said about choosing or not choosing.
And I'm being honest. I'm not sure I chose my path. I'm quite sure one thing that life chose to show me something, and I decide to listen to it. This is more about that.
Okay.
So I've been very successful as a sales. I would say that I earned good money, good revenue. Everything was stable. Every year was increasing in terms of recognition, overcoming challenges, getting promoted every time I was working in a company. I worked in SAP, Oracle. Everything was going very well until life showed me that things can change just in a matter of a second like this. So I was living with my girlfriend at that time. I had my 3 kids. We just got another one. And for a reason still until now, I can't really put a name into it, but we decided to end up the relationship. I would say that at that time, it woke up something inside me that I had let sleep for a while, that I thought it was okay. So I just said, hey, later on. That day, that little monster said, like, I'm going to wake up now and make a mess out of your life, emotional life, until you listen to me. And this is what happened. I think we can call it a burnout. We can call it a severe depression. I don't know, but I know that something cracked inside me at that moment. And I will be very honest with you. It's very emotional to share that now, because it's the first time I talk about this openly like this. When it happened, I remember telling to myself, I need to become a better man. I need to get out of this. I need to change and take this as a chance. So I immediately called a psychologist and said, I want to meet you. I need to be a better man. I need to change this and this and that. I remember she told me, I'll be honest with you, it was in Malaga. She told me, okay, I got some appointments in 3 weeks. And I told her on the phone, you don't get it. I'm coming tomorrow. We start tomorrow. We start the therapy the next day. It went on for a few weeks. And I remember realizing something was going to change in my life at that time. And this is the moment I thought, like, it's time to talk to my kids also, because I was not really myself, not in my, everything was changing around. So I sit with them. We had our little meetings on the ground. This is what we used to do normally. We talk every week before they go back to see their mommy. We talk, and how are you? How are you feeling? What can I do better as a dad? What can you do better as a child? But that day I said, like, this is going to be very different. Today I want to talk about myself and explain them the process I was going through, why I was quite absent, because I was going every week. I was really dedicating my time. And I challenged them. I told them, we need to make an example to the world. Because I know what I'm going through, and I feel all these people that go through the same and keep this in silence, basically. This is where they challenged me. Said, Dad, you need to make a world record. First, I had different offers from my kids. And I remember my daughter looked at me straight in the eye, sold the soul. She said, Dad, you need to make a world record. The world needs to hear your story. And, kids can do things sometimes you don't understand. And I remember it touched me. And my story started that day. The same day, I called them, took the book of records, start to search. I saw cycling. I still can't tell you why, because I didn't like cyclists. I'll be very honest with you. I was the one laughing about cyclists when I saw them on the side of the road. Yeah. Little story apart. I remember when I started training, I saw my ex-girlfriend with the kids and said, hey, I stopped on the side of the road. She looked at me. She said, oh, look at you. She saw me with the clothes, with the gear. She said, look at you. You see how life can change? It was funny. But
yeah, so there's a couple of things. So first, I just want to acknowledge you. I want to acknowledge you for deciding to share, allowing us in to this part of your life. And I've shared here on the show as well. A very similar type of story of things good, constantly going in the right direction, all, things moving up and going through also divorce and going through a business partner situation all at the same time. And so it what it does is it's one of those moments in life where you either decide that you will collapse to those things around you, or it gives you the opportunity to rise up, to be resilient, to reinvent or find the next path. And so it sounds like when you were going through these moments, that was also the time for you that your corporate life, let's say, that was the time for it to say, hey, listen, I need to find this other path. You have your children that are motivating you, saying, hey, listen, Dad, go out and set a world record. Up until then, am I following you correctly?
Yeah. Actually, what happened is that it went naturally. I would say the process went naturally because I was into a corporate life. I was already working from home quite a lot. So I had a lot of flexibility.
Okay. Gotcha.
The beautiful thing is that my manager at the time was really understanding what I was going through. She gave me some space, some time. Gotcha. And I would say that I did so basically I went through the first world record while I was working. It was not easy, but I could manage both of them. Yeah. But at a certain point, something changed inside me. And she called me, she said, let's have a face-to-face talk. You're changing, you're kind of flying away. Why don't you take that route? Why don't you take some time to prepare yourself? And look, we're going to find solution because you've been good to the company. Yeah. We love you in the team. We can help you in a way, another one, and find an agreement at the end. Yeah, but it's clear that at a certain point, it's only like, hey, I think we make you a favor, you need to go. So, which is the best thing that happens.
Yeah, and this is one of those things. And I believe that one of those things, up to a certain point, you're able to coexist. And can you talk to us a little bit about what that was like for you? Because we have a lot of people who, as they're watching, as they're listening, they're thinking, okay, Olivier, you've already done what I want to do, but I feel like, and the way that I could explain it is, and I went through something very similar, is you feel like you're cheating on your employer. But at the same time, it's like there's this balance of there's something that gives you lots of energy, and something that is also a part of your identity, which is probably part of your corporate life. And people feel uncomfortable about that. But I think the more that we can talk about it is the more that we can normalize it. So could you maybe talk to us what that was like, trying to balance those things for you? Yeah. And the challenges and maybe some of the upsides?
It's all about being honest. It's like a relationship, whatever you're going through, at the end, we spend more time with our colleagues than our wives and kids because we spend like 8 to 10 hours together. It's all about being honest. First of all, that's the first thing I would recommend to anyone is like talk your situation, explain what you're going through, because at the end, we know each other. We live together for a long time. And I would say that, that's if you do things right, that's a natural transition in the sense that you have to prepare yourself for the worst case scenario. That's what I did. And I live with the what if. I love to live with the what if. What if it works? Not what if it doesn't work, always positive. What if it works? So one thing I knew at the time, for example, I said, like, I'm going to live from that anyways. What if it works? What if I was given the chance to know already myself from the future came back and say, hey, I can tell you one thing, this is going to work for you. So take it easy. That's what I did, basically. I thought like, okay, I give myself 8 months to get ready and then we'll see. But in 8 months, I prepared heavy plan, like plan A, B, C, how I'm going to earn, how much I'm going to earn, how long am I going to survive, how many challenges do I need to do, what can I bring to this world, what is my benefits, what is my why. So I worked on all that during all this time. I was working at the same time corporate, spent some time aside, and slowly, step by step. Guess what? When the time came, I was not even surprised. When they called me and say, hey, we got a letter for you, check your bank account, I think you can go. I was not emotionally, I was stable, I was balanced because I knew it. I was waiting for it. I prepared myself. I got good advice also. So it's all about, prepare for what's coming, simply.
Yeah. And so I love the framing of what if, I like to say when it works, what will happen, how will I feel? And I love that because we're usually spending so much of our mental energy on what happens when it doesn't work versus what happens when it does. And there's actually a lot more challenges that you run into because when things start to work and you're like, whoa, hang on a second, hang on a second. I wasn't prepared for this. One of the things that's that I'd love for you to talk about, and then I really, really, really like, I want to hear more about the 1,000 miles challenge because I just think this is amazing. You know, as you're going for world records, but does it happen perfectly the first time, Olivier? Has it this is your very first time you're doing this and this is already working perfectly? Is that how you've gotten to this point?
Well, welcome to the chaos.
What do you mean? Talk to us about, because it sounds like you were a high achiever during your corporate life. You've overcome all the odds. I would just assume that as soon as you try something once, it works perfectly.
No. Okay. If it was that easy, everybody would do that. Nobody wants to be on a bicycle for days riding, first of all, because it's not easy. You sometimes want to give up. You have to dedicate life, time, create a team. So I'm managing, basically, you have to understand that I'm managing corporate life, business life, and training life also, which is live like an athlete. At the moment, I'm training 2 to 3 times a day. And trust me, this is heavy trainings. At the same time, I'm doing my marketing, communication, making sure everything is on track. Because I build also more than a record. I'm going to try to draw you the big picture, so you understand that
you're going to draw the big picture for sure.
This is not just about sport. In the beginning, it was about sport. So I just decided to make this first challenge, but I understood quickly that I could impact the world because my main question was, okay, if I throw myself in this water, I want to be part of the world. I want to leave a legacy for my kids. But what is my why? That's what I suggest to people when they listen to me, to my talk, is ask yourself, do you want to live corporate life? Yes. Okay, that's a good thing. But what do you bring to this world? What is the things that enlighten you? And this is your why. Once you understand this, you can sell shoes. If you know you want to make people walk better, sell shoes. If you want to make money off shoes, that's not good. You're not in the good way. That's the same as me. Do I want to be a cyclist? Yeah, maybe, but that's not my why. My why is I want to show people how limitless we are. But also I want to be a greener advocate for the future because I thought to myself, I love training. I sleep outdoor. I live in the mountains most of the time. I take my kids to the nature. I see all this. So I thought I have an impact. I have a platform. Let's build a platform. Let's impact this world, change behaviors about clean mobility. So this is where I build my message, my platform, and I created these challenges. So basically, these challenges are an excuse to impact and spread a bigger message. Bigger message is we have to change our behaviors. We can't just give up on cars and everything and say we're going to change, make a better world tomorrow. But we can change step by step. Or use the way I go, for example, I go to the schools, I talk to kids also, I love to do that. What I tell them is if you can change a little bit once a month, every Saturday, go to buy the bread with your bicycle or with your dad, you make a step forward. You don't need to give up on the car to go to school every day, but if you can once a week, once a month go by bicycle, man, you make a step forward and we will all as a community change the world. And this is what I'm intending to impact on my way, doing extreme things. But at the end, I know that the message gets bigger.
Yeah. And just speaking of the message, and I know I will ask you later on, but because it's such a powerful thing. And when I hear you say that you want to help us to understand how limitless we are, and we're limitless by taking very tiny actions, but doing it consistently, it's fantastic. Now, I'm going to ask you later on, but can you tell me, where can we find out more about how we can be limitless, or through your website, or through like, what's the best way to know?
I'm just finishing the website. Actually, we're just rebuilding the website. It's going to be live, I think, in 24 hours.
Okay.
But otherwise, people can follow me on social media: Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn.
Yep.
And I will be honest with you, right now, all my social medias are off. I just disappeared because I need to focus. I'm on a very important moment now. Social media is taking a lot of mental loads. But basically, when the challenge will be announced, so we come by the end of May, maximum at the latest, will be announced. We'll have a date. So planning to do this before the summer. There will be live tracking. People will be able to see it live because I have a whole team basically with me. This is a whole big deal. We are 7 to 8 people traveling that day. So basically, 1,000 miles. Can I bring you to this directly?
Yes. Yeah.
All right,
please.
let's do it. So 1,000 miles. I've done a lot of challenges.
Wait, sorry. Yeah, I said yes. You can go straight to 1,000 miles, and I want to understand the challenge. But one of the things that I want to highlight, because many times you're a corporate high achiever. You want to, as we say, dot all of your I's, cross all of your T's. The reality is as you build and as you are moving from the silos and the specialization of corporate, and you are building new skills outside of that, I want everyone to understand and just feel the naturalness that Olivier just shared with us, and that, hey, listen, there's still some things that are being built, but this is the way that you can find me, because as you're building or you're re-engineering, it's part of the process. You don't have to have every single thing done. And before you go to the 1,000 miles, is there anything that you want to talk about that, Olivier, just like, it's not always perfectly done?
Yeah, we can stay on this. That's pretty important too, because I'll give this message for anybody listening. If you go for your passion, this is not going to be easy. But if you have some hurt, so you know the why you do it, you have to know already. You have, and I think you live the same. You have to go through fire sometime, but it is okay. This is building you, and be ready to go on and on. Have some setbacks. The moment you can sit and watch, what can I do better? And what if it works again? Because 1,000 miles have been postponed 2 times already. It's been 2 years I'm preparing it. This is my secret. I tell you, I swear I never said it to nobody. So you're the first one to hear it. It's been 2 years. You know what I did for these 2 years? Every time it happens, I said, okay, what if I was guaranteed that this project happens? What can I do better? You know what? I make a movie out of it. The first time was just a challenge. And I said, you know what? We make a movie out of it. Search for a team, contract. We get a movie now coming. So we'll record a movie. I will present it to the theater, and we possibly get a big contract coming out of that, because I guarantee you my story is going to sell. Second time it was postponed, I had a choice to sit down and cry my tears because I lost a lot of money, a lot of time, investment with the team, prepared everything. We had to cancel because we couldn't get the fundraising we needed. So you know what? We make a photo exhibition. A living photo exhibition that's going to go through 5 capitals. We talk about the nature, the impact, and on and on and on. At the end, I find myself with a huge platform that works, that is about to happen now, the biggest project of my life. I'm so proud of what my team and myself achieved. So it's about never give up. But it's not just a sentence, it sounds a bit too repetitive, but it's about understanding that nothing is easy. My first world record attempt, we went, I remember the 12th of September, you know what? We had to give up at half of the way. 500 kilometers, we had to stop. My team was not ready. Things didn't happen as I wanted. I came home. I was broken, destroyed mentally and physically, because 500 kilometers, you don't come back from this that easy. I had a choice. Either way, I was going back to my career, working career. Either way, I was going to prepare and go again. 3 weeks after I went for it, and I just get it. So it's about make sure you know why you do that. You become unstoppable. But it's about to find your why.
Yeah. So connecting with your why and that whole thing. And I love talking about it. It's like, you have to be clear, before you can do anything else, you have to be really clear about what it is that you want to do and why you want to do it. Olivier, just as you just shared. So, and I know you've given us a little bit of a sneak preview, but, and since we both were here in Spain, there's this saying, la tercera la vencida. So it's like the third time is the charm. And so here is what I would love for you is to give us some more insight into, as this attempt, as this 1,000 miles challenge is happening. Talk to us about the genesis. Talk to us about whatever you want to talk to us, so that we're more informed about the 1,000 miles challenge. where it comes from, where it's going, who's involved, who can be involved to support.
Yeah, that's so far the biggest project of my life, physically, mentally, business-wise also, because I decided to bring something bigger than life. I don't think you have seen any athlete coming with this kind of project, like saying to companies like, hey, I'm not looking for sponsorship. I'm looking for partnership. We're going to work together on this. So I don't need brand visibility. I'm bringing you something. We're going to create activation. I'll explain you this. But basically, physically, I contacted the team of the Guinness and I said to them, hey, I want a page. I want a page in your book this time, not just a small paragraph. I want a page. I say, okay, 1,000 miles. If you can do that under 90 hours, it's yours. I said, yes, immediately. I signed. My team looked at me. I said, are you mad? The pro cyclists, are you mad? I said, yeah, I'm going to prepare for that. So that's one thing. So in terms of history, I thought I need to connect my both homes, my roots. Mm-hmm. So I will cycle from Brussels to Barcelona because this was my first trip that changed my life. Mm-hmm. So Brussels to Barcelona under 90 hours. I will cross whole part of Belgium, France, and reach Barcelona. That's about the story. I will cycle this under 90 hours. I would say more 80 hours. So basically, where am I good? I'm good at mental resilience. I'm not the best cyclist at all. I'm not fast like a super cyclist should be, but I'm good at the resilience. So basically, I will cut on sleep. I will do something people used to do and prove them that if I do this, guys, you can do it. You can do that. And on another level, everyone has a struggle at the end. It is about your kids, your wife, your work, friendships. If this guy showed that he can open door, I'm a door opener, basically. I will open doors for mental resilience. I'm about to do that in 3 days with like 15 to 45 minutes of sleep per night, maximum. And
how many per night?
15 to 45 minutes of sleep per night, maximum, really. But I'm planning to do a bit less. We'll see until where brain can go. But I guarantee you that, yeah, we'll do it. This is already done. This is already planned.
It's already done. It's already in the plan. And so when you do that 15, as you're doing 15 to 45 minutes of sleep, and then you're continuing, is that part of the training?
Yeah, I'm training now at night sometimes. So what I do is that I have a normal decent day. I work, train, go buy food, whatever. And at 10 p.m., take my bicycle and go riding the whole night until 3 a.m. 3 a.m. I come home and I try to reproduce the schedule. Sleep for 20, 40 minutes. You feel kind of dizzy when you wake up, eat something and go ride again until 11, 12 in the morning, just to see how the body responds. So now my body is kind of used to it. So there is a beautiful struggle, a beautiful pain that I call into this, and that I would recommend to anybody to find in a way or another one. When you get into this deep ocean, when the water becomes dark, trust me, it is really about like, who am I? Because the first time it happened, I remember when I did the first 1,000 kilometers record, I heard this voice inside me, like screaming to me, like, you can do that. You're made for this. And I thought to myself, is it me? When I came home, I remember after 1,000 kilometers, I was destroyed. The first thing I said, I want to go back there. I want to meet this part of me because I didn't know I was that strong, capable to do it. So it's about also to explore basically what the mental is capable to do, because going through this, you can't prepare for that for 1,000 miles. You just need to live it.
Yeah. And so when you have something that you can't prepare for and in the moment, so I'd like to think about this, and I'd love to have your thoughts on this, is, when you're going through moments that are really painful, can be emotionally painful, can be physically painful, you realize that things are happening to you because it feels like things are happening to you. It's only with reflection and time that you realize that they happen for you for a reason. You just don't really understand it. And so having gone through that pattern in life, how does that help you face those moments that will be feeling like they are happening to you, even though you have to get through that and realize that they were happening for you?
Once you know it, once you know that life only wants good for you, it becomes so easy. Embrace them. I embrace them, honestly. Every failure, what we call failure, everything that doesn't go the way I want, and that's what I told you, life choose for me. I don't choose. I don't believe we choose so much. I think this is a scenario we need to accept. The more you resist, the more painful it becomes. So the same, I choose to do 1,000 miles. What do you think? It's going to be magic? I won't feel anything. Yes, I'm going to suffer, but yes, it's going to stop. The same way that it climbs on the road, the same way that it goes down. So take it easy. It hurts, yes. In 5 hours, you will be completely crazy and happy again on the bike. I know it for a fact, so take it easy. It is windy on the road, it's the same. Take it easy. Slow down and wait till the wind turns. And when it turns, speed up. It's the same about life. Not all the project goes as you want. Not all the relationship goes as you want, but know that there is a reason why. There is a why, and it all goes in your favor. That's the way I see it.
The things are working in your favor. Yeah, it's a great way to recognize that, life is here. The universe, your higher power, is working in your favor, and everything is already worked out. It's just a matter of accepting that and lowering the resistance and walking into it. So there's a number of different things that we've talked about from things of you starting in life. But is there anything that we maybe have not talked about, Olivier, that you feel is really important for the Going Long family to hear, to understand? Before I kind of get into it, I do have another question for you, but
I'd say that right now the main message has been, I spread the main message, and I think it is very clear, it is not only for me. Because people ask me sometimes when I give motivation speech in corporate life, like, oh, what should I do if I want to leave because I want to leave my work? But don't live blind. Just learn from that, because at the end, it's going to help you. You will only replicate what you've learned, because I'm grateful I've been through the corporate life, because I'm just replicating it now. My way to work, my way to achieve things is because of what I've learned before. So I would say the main message is corporate life is very important, as long as you learn from that. And you just, once you feel ready, make sure that you can, does it work with my future life, basically? Then I didn't waste my time.
No, I love that. So this is one of the things I was talking to a buddy of mine. Actually, he was on the podcast. His name is Maurice, and he and I were talking. We talk a lot about life. We talk a lot about just the same things that you're talking about right now, lowering resistance and things like that. And one of the in a recent conversation, we were talking about, how are you just accepting that things are working out in your favor? But then we got into the topic of corporate, and he and I actually viewed corporate very differently. He, from the very beginning, recognized that you can use your talents. However, corporate is it is a place for you to actually develop and hone your skills. Mm-hmm. It's not a place for you to lose your identity. That's his point of view. And so my point of view was, I went in thinking that my identity was corporate. It was only later that I realized, like, you can really enjoy corporate without giving all of yourself, and you can give more than corporate expects you to give. But it took me a long time, and a lot of that has to do with the way that I grew up and some of the mindset that I had. But there is no one size fits all for everything. And I'm just curious for you, Olivier, if you're more like how my buddy Maurice saw corporate, and there's no right or wrong answer. But I was, what we say, I was drinking the Kool-Aid from day one. And it was only until later that I realized, like, oh, okay, maybe I didn't have to do all those things, and I still would have done just as well. But I don't know if you have a thought there.
I agree more with you. The way I see it is, and there's nothing bad in what I say towards corporate life. Corporate work is more about building on the foundation. So like going to school. You go to school it is not to memorize, to learn. At the end, it gives you a structure, a way to classify, to wake up from time to time, to go from that hour to that hour. You see that where I'm going? It is building a foundation. The moment we open the cage, we set you free. You just need to find the light. Once you find the light will connect with what you've learned before, and you become a master of your life. As simple as that. But I believe that my identity at the end, I could only deploy it once I left corporate life. This is the moment I saw wow, this is me. Okay, I'm sorry. It doesn't match anymore. This is like a relationship with my ex. It's like, I'm sorry, who am I right now? Thank you for what you've learned to me, because without you, I wouldn't be in this life now. So thanks for breaking up with me. But I wouldn't be able to come back with you for what I became now. It doesn't match. It doesn't remove the fact that you teach me so much that I will always be connected to you. And I'm always saying that I'm so thankful for the past experience I had, my past jobs, my managers, because they've brought me to who I am now. And without that, there is no world record either. So one works with the other one. But your through you, who you are, can only deploy once you leave that place. Let's say, I won't call it a cage, it's not very positive, but once you leave the place, once you start to fly by yourself.
Yeah, that environment changes. It's different. So I appreciate you sharing that, and we're gonna get ready and wrap things up. But I do have one question, because it's something that I just as you're talking right now. When I was going through life, so much of life, as we mentioned earlier, everything worked perfectly. Everything was going on as it should have gone, and sometimes even better. But it was, for me, 2023 that helped me to realize that not everything goes according to plan. We talked about earlier, and just in this form of sharing, whether it was personal life or whether it was professional life, things didn't go according to the plan that I had in my mind. And during that time, as a kind of a classic high achiever, everyone always came to me to help me. I helped other people fix their issues, right? I won't necessarily call them problems, but their issues. But this was a moment where I chose not to talk to a lot of people. I really was holding within myself. But the few people that I did allow in, I started realizing it was just a matter of letting people care for me, understand what was really happening, and being able to pour into me. And even with that support, I realized that there was one person that really needed to be supportive of me, and that was me. And it took a moment where I visualized it just like yesterday, where I literally looked myself in the mirror and I said to myself the things that I won't necessarily say here, but it was, I had to hear myself say certain things to change the situation that I was going through. And so I always think about it in, as life is happening for you, when things are going really, really well, we don't tend to think about it because things are going well. But when you're in the bottom, it you can get stuck in this feeling of, oh my gosh, I'm not going to go back up. Right. But you and I both know that it's the things that you say to yourself when things aren't going according to plan that can help to build that mental resiliency muscle. And so I want you to think about, like, Olivier, you're looking 3 years down the road. You're already down in whatever. I don't want to timestamp this, but 3 years in the future, you know that you're going to have a lot of high moments, and you're going to have some moments that are going to be tough, right? Yeah. What is the one thing that you would like to share with us? Because there's a bunch of people all around the globe listening, but it's that one thing, that one sentence that you need to say to yourself that's going to help you move from that bottom to start moving back up. Yeah. What's the one thing you would say to yourself that you would let us listen to?
Have some gratitude. Appreciate life. Appreciate every bit of life, because everything is designed for you. Have gratitude. Gratitude for the moment with you. Gratitude for the smile of the person that looked at you in the street. Gratitude for what you eat. The moment you wake up, and you will see life changes completely. Yeah. That's a magical sentence that I heard once, and I understood this changed my life completely. And I would say to anybody that clicks with what I say is, get yourself a book. Start to write about your gratitude every day. It becomes automatically after, but it's switch your frequency to something more positive. And it's like, I heard this video from, I heard this video of this guy saying, like, you enter in the room, and if I tell you, Billy, can you tell me what's red in the room? You won't be able to say, you think. Say, okay, close your eyes, open, watch carefully, and tell me what's red. You will say, you only see red. It's the same with gratitude. Once you focus, you will attract so many good things and realize how beautiful life is. And it's just a process. And that's my best advice. Have some gratitude.
Have some gratitude and be able to focus on that gratitude. Well, I will tell you, like, it's one of these things, like the conversations, they literally, and I repeat this every single time, and I feel like this is another time to share, in that from the very beginning of the conversation, like I asked you to talk about moving forward, and you said, let me take a step and go back to the past, and being able to allow us in and really get an understanding of not just your first year of life, but your first 10 or 11 years of life, when you went in and out of doctors and you heard that, things were not going to work in the right way, and you're going to be in this particular situation for your whole life. And at 11 years old, you were able to have the audacity to say, stop, we're going to do this a different way. We're going to do this my way. And you went through all of the different trials, and you didn't want to be treated differently than anybody else. And you let the doctors know, and you let the coaches know, and you let everyone that was around you know that you wanted to be treated just like everybody else. It didn't mean that what you were going through wasn't painful. It didn't mean that what you were going through wasn't going to help to take you to the next level, but it also helped you to get to that point where you're 16, 17. You're like, you know what? I really like this stuff. This is mixed martial arts. This is something that's going to be completely different, something that's going to change. And then you let us go from there to into your life and recognizing like, hey, listen, you got into the hospitality fever and you recognized that was there. And then you went through another opportunity where you're talking about events and how you start to share vision. And then you went and said, hey, listen, is it going to be Ireland or is it going to be Spain? And then something took you to Spain, and you get to another moment where you're thinking to yourself, hey, IT industry, hardware, software, and you allowed yourself to go through a number of different changes. And then as things were continuing to go well, you had a reminder that life doesn't always work once again in the way that you want it to work. And whether that was a relationship that was changing and transforming in a way that you didn't anticipate, what it did provide for you was the opportunity to sit down and share with your children what was going on, what was happening. And your children were able to shine a light that said, hey, listen, Daddy, you know what? All of these things that are happening, thank you, but you need to go out and set a world record. And so then what did you do? Is another reason for you to connect with your why. And you continue to do that. It doesn't happen on the first time, maybe, and it doesn't happen on the second time, maybe, but that's because it's giving you the opportunity to now take those previous experiences, share with others, share your message, share your voice, and have others be able to join you and be a part of what you're now on, and that you're sharing with us now is the 1,000 miles challenge, beyond other things, the many challenges that you do. But everybody here is just going, yeah, Billy, but just ask him the question and stop talking. So let me ask you the question, Olivier. Okay. And you've told us before, but what is the best way for the Going Long family to find out more about you, connect with you, also find out how they can be a part of what it is that that you're doing in the 1,000 Miles Challenge and other challenges?
You've said it. The 1,000 Miles Challenge, I do not want to be alone on this. This is big time what we're going to achieve. I mean, I'll make history. Let's be honest. Humble, but I'll make history. And I cannot do that alone. So I'm looking for partners at the moment. People that really want to stand by something strong. It is about resilience. It is about also a strong message about impacting the world, clean mobility. And there's a lot of topics about ESG, sustainability. So if people think like, okay, I want to follow this project, I want to go on with him, I'm still looking for people or companies to come on board of this project and become my partner. But I'm building really like lasting partnerships. So like, I want to really create something long-term because I created a lot of legacy projects. Basically, the plan is this. I see the future, okay? I do 1,000 miles record. I just break the record, go to the Guinness book. We launch the movie. I win the festival selection. We launch the book right after that, and then we go for the photo exhibition. It travels through Europe, and this is how the project will live for a year and a half. Basically, it's what's going to happen. That's my matrix plan. This is my vision. It's clear it's happening. So basically, I'm looking for people, companies to want to come on board with me and follow me basically for this year and a half coming. How they can find me? LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn for the moment. Instagram and Facebook is going to be more for the time of the record to connect with me, follow it live, see me going through every pedal stroke and encourage me. And I'll be collaborating with different NGO also about that. One of them is Good Planet. I'm an ambassador for them. So I go from school to school with them also. But basically everything, the best way to find me is on LinkedIn directly.
All right, fantastic. So check him out, Olivier Jadoul, Jadoul. We're going to make it really super simple for everybody. All you have to do is click a link and we'll take you directly to his LinkedIn page. And as I always say, everybody, please, 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 when you reach out to Olivier, not if, but when you reach out to him, just let him know that you've already heard more about him, his story. You've invested time here today on the Billy Keels, on the Going Long podcast with Billy Keels. It just makes the conversation that the two of you have just move so much further and so much faster. So listen, Olivier, I want to say thank you very, very much. And I will say this from the bottom of my heart, man, for you deciding to invest your time with us, be so transparent and so gracious with your time. Really, really do appreciate it. And know that we are rooting for you. It's going to be phenomenal. Already envisioning that with you, and as you go out and set this world record, the Guinness World Record and the 1,000 Miles Challenge, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks to you. Thanks for the time. Thanks for the moment. I appreciate it too. And let's talk soon anyway. Like I told you, I see you at the arrival. You're in Barcelona. I will meet you there definitely.
Fantastic. Sounds like a plan. I think I know we can do that. So that's it. So
we will.
So listen, thanks Olivier, and listen to the Going Long family. Thank you so much for deciding to invest your time with Olivier and I. Go out and make it a great day. And thank you very, very much.